this guy had there was one of the dudes that had a girlfriend that does like OnlyFans and shit like that, right? Which is like a wild life, you know? I don't know. Have you ever dated a chick that like does all that stuff?
No. No, I mean, I've been around. A few of my guys used to drive hookers when I was a kid, so I've been around a lot of those chicks in their like downtime, and they're all fucked up.
Insane job, insane people. Yeah, it's just a wild world. So he basically said that. So there's these, 8, 9 guys that all have like, 8 chicks that they all know, and they all kind of like have their like network of like OnlyFans hoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that get big, then they hire someone to manage it. So there's this like guy that manages like 9 of their OnlyFans and messages all the dudes and stuff. So it's
really? There's like a dude writing the personalized text messages for all of the chicks.
That is correct. So these chicks have these huge followings, and the dudes pay the extra premium service to fucking chat with them and whatever.
It just goes to show that women really can't do the nuts and bolts of this running a business. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's as much as we want more female entrepreneurs, if you can't fucking write the "ooh daddy" to your fucking $7 a month OnlyFans people, like, it's really just cut and paste the names. It's like those letters you get after you donate to a candidate. You know what I mean? It's just like, they just white out one name and put your name in. It's just like, it's a stamp. Like, let's go. Move this along.
I think it's even more complicated. I think it's like they weren't even there from the beginning. I think it's like some dude that like, the way that I said it was like they found the guy. But I think what's more accurate is like the guy says to this girl, like, hey, I'm going to come like take photos of you naked like once a week, put them on the internet. I'm going to run this site and send you a check once a month. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, and so they're just like straight up, like, that's just like, that's the old hooker pimp model.
It's the old hooker pimp model. Like, I think in this scenario, the guy, they seem to be getting like a pretty good chunk of change. Like, he's probably taking 20%. It's more like agent fees or whatever, but like legitimately they're not involved. Like, they probably don't even know the fucking password. So, and I've seen it before where I'm like, I don't subscribe to any of that stuff, but I have seen where it's like, some chick you went to university with or something has like OnlyFans. You're like, I can take a peep at that.
Oh yeah. I remember there was a girl I went to high school with who like 2 years afterwards, somebody was like, hey, this girl's on this website. It was called like brooklynhookers.com. Oh. And it was just like a video. And she was not somebody I would have had sex with. You know what I mean? But I was like, I'll totally watch her blow a stranger. You know what I mean? Like it was, and I probably also jerked off to it because it's like, well, I know her. She's doing something fucking gross. Let's go.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You're just like, hey, this is funny.
There was like a fat. I've talked about this. I may have told you about this at some point, but there was like a fat chick when I used to live in Bensonhurst, like right across the way from me. This fat chick would like, she was gross, but like I would bone up every time she would like walk around. She would like walk around naked, and I would like, or like in her bra and panties, and just because I wasn't supposed to be seeing it.
No.
Just bone up a little, just a little bit. I would just fluff up. I'd be like, and like literally would not let her, like, there's no way, like if that girl was like, hey, can I come up and blow you? I'd be like, probably not. No, that's probably not a good
idea. No. You know what the funniest part about this guy was, so like he was breaking up with her. And because, before he was kind of like, yo, it's sick. Like he was kind of flossing, like as if it was this like cool lifestyle. Right. And then he was like, oh, we're breaking up. We're like, what? You kind of like, what's the problem? And he was like, just all the things you would think would be the problem. It's like, yeah, all of the reasons you would think that it sucks dating a girl like that, those. It's dude, like, yeah.
So the guys I knew that used to drive girls, like the girls would just like, so like basically a couple of my buddies were doing this job as I was taking care of my dad when he had cancer. So nobody wanted to hang out in my house because my dad had cancer and it was depressing. But all the guys who had to sit around with hookers all night would just come smoke blunts in my basement because they were like, well, we're waiting for calls. You know what I mean? So like, and so like you meet these girls and like most of them, their boyfriends didn't know they were hooking. They thought they were just stripping for bachelor parties. One girl, the weirdest one I heard was her boyfriend. She was a little white girl dating a big black dude. And he was just like, I don't care if you fuck other dudes, but don't let me find out you're fucking other black dudes because that's the end of our relationship. And I was just like, what a strange line to draw.
I knew one that there was this dude, he fucking is a comic in Toronto and he used to date these kind of like fucking hooker chicks or whatever. And then it was almost that, but he goes, I don't care if you fuck other dudes, but it better not be for free. Like it was, you walk in on a guy, you'd be like, he better be paying for this.
You realize the girl who's going to
No,
say,
I'm not
no
cheating
problem.
on you. He paid me.
Yeah. Just like she could always just have a stack of money on her. Like,
that's what you have to do. Yeah, you gotta like, you can fuck me, but I gotta put a stack of money on the bed so like in case my boyfriend walks in. It's like, what a life.
Yeah. Was like the guys who were just like, well, they're using protection with those guys. It's like, yeah, until he pulls out an extra 500. Like, what do you think is happening? Your girlfriend is a hooker. Like,
it's a fucking wild world. But these, and some dudes just they're so just beat up inside that they'll fucking let the girls like walk over them like that. You know what the crazy part is? Like I was talking this with my chick where she was talking about like, how the girl podcasters all give the like most insane advice. It'll be like, what you need to do to get what you want. You need this from a guy and you need this and never settle for less and ignore him and do all this stuff. And you're like,
it's a good way to end up with a liar.
You're going to end up with a liar for sure. And then also, and it's like, yeah, if you're like super hot and whatever.
And also have money. Like I'm not putting up with any of that shit. Like,
yeah. So it's like, it's good advice to like either be alone or get a terrible guy. But it's like, you're like, what you're describing is you want a lopsided relationship. So you want to be with a guy that is like putting out more stuff and you have a better deal than he does. And it was like, okay, well, you better be fucking hot and he better really value having a hot chick or else he's going to be like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Well, I was just listening to you. I was listening to your last episode where you were talking about girls saying that you're a sociopath for wanting certain things. It just made me think about like when me and my girl were broken up for a while, we got back together and I was just kind of like,
you go on a tear?
Yeah, come on. Yeah, like a little bit. We're going to edit this out.
So many dudes. Yeah.
So dude, that's all. I mean, dudes don't count as cheating. It's fine. Like, but no, but it was like we got back together after a long while, and it was like one of these things where it was like kind of like, all right, like I think this is where we're running into problems. Like, I need like autonomy and this and that, and it's just like she was just like, okay, I'm like willing. I need some level of autonomy. I need to be able to do things that I want to do, like achieve goals. And she was like, yeah, I'm willing to work through my issues with that if you sometimes meet me halfway if I'm being a little crazy. And I was like,
what would be an example?
Well, like just like. I mean, think about it. I'm out every night doing comedy or whatever. We got hammered. Yeah. Me and you got hammered last night. And it's just like, I don't want to hear shit about when we're going to Skankfest. And she's like a little apprehensive about that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go like do a bunch. Yeah, but she's like a little apprehensive. You know what I mean? But it's like, I'm going to go do that. And she's like, yeah, I know. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's the kind of thing. It's like, it's the thing where it's like, you got to just be allowed to do that. She was trying to say, like one time she was like, well, you're lucky to have somebody who does that. And I'm just like, I kind of like stopped her and was like, this is going to start an argument because like, I'm not lucky. I literally had to say to you, I need this or we can't be together. I'm not lucky. Yeah. We had a conversation. That means we have a strong relationship. And she was like, because like, we talked about like a buddy of mine who was like a little, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, little one of those. And it was just like, well, she's like, you're lucky to have, like, it was like, no. He could have easily, before you get into the relationship, you probably set the boundary. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I think that's always a better move. No?
Yeah. So many girls think that. I've heard that from so many, like every girl probably ever I've been with is like, you'll never find anyone like me. Like it's almost cliche, and then they'll be like,
there's billions of hosts.
And you go, what are you crazy? Like you're high maintenance. I go, oh, you think you're one of the good ones? Yeah. I'm like with you because you're hot. Like you're a fucking bag of problems. And I'm like, but or I sort of like that, but I'm like, the fact that you think like, oh my God, like you hit the jackpot with you. It was like,
you're similar to the last three. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
You're very similar to the last three. They all said that too.
But I think also the reason it's like important to fucking set that boundary, like the way you're saying, have that conversation, because it's like, even though she's like, okay, you can do that or whatever, but the fact that like, I might have to like, okay, this with you, or I even have to, it starts influencing your decision process. And over a time, it makes you more cautious.